How's it going? My name's Liam. I'm in direct sales. I've sold over $100,000 in the past 2 years around school, and I've now made a YouTube video every day for 280 days, and I've read 72 books in the past 365 days. So just to tell you a little bit about myself, I just do stuff and tell you guys about it, so hopefully it saves you some time. But today I'm talking about Brez scales. So this guy's popped out on the scene over the past few months. I remember I was scrolling on my YouTube and I just saw 19-year-old driving the Aventador, and he's actually showing you what it's like day to day for this guy. And he seems incredibly ambitious. He seems incredibly hardworking, and it's truly remarkable how he's gotten to the position he's in. The business model itself is not what I'm going to be focusing on. We all know he does freelance brand scaling. If you don't know what that is, it's incredibly simple. It's not rocket science. All the guy does is he runs ads for other businesses and he gets a percentage of their earnings. So he's taking on the risk. Yeah, he's doing it for them. There's essentially, I'm not sure how his offer works, but it's very simple, okay? He's running ads, he's getting a percentage of their income. But I'm going to talk about the timeless business principles that are not just in his business model, his life in general, but actually what you might be able to apply in whatever interest you have. It's not just, oh, you need to do freelance brand scaling because Brez did it and he's 19 and he's popping off. Not at all. Actually, these principles can be applied to pretty much any business model. A lemonade stand, damn it, your YouTube channel, whatever it is you're trying to pursue, there's two things that I'm going to talk about today that can be applied. But before I do, I want just to introduce this, I want to talk about what Brez was doing when he was 16, 17, 18. This guy was in high school, and each day he would probably come home, he would load up his computer, and he had a clothing brand. Do you realize he wasn't just out there he wasn't smoking weed every day, he wasn't partying, he wasn't wasting time. This guy was making sacrifices and taking risks at the age of 17. I'm not deriding, I'm just literally saying, are you doing that? If you're not in this spot, okay, that's fine. But are you doing this kind of stuff? And are you actually conceptualizing what he went through and the risks he was taking? He was in high school, he knew what he wanted to do, and then he started college. Now, if you're in college, you know what it's like. Your parents are very, very connected to this idea that you're going to go to college and you're going to graduate. If you want to do that, sure. But if you don't want to do that, you need to be able to, you have to have a ton of courage to be able to drop out of college. You have to really know what you're doing, or even if you don't know what you're doing and you still drop out, that requires a lot of courage. So this guy, I've seen his videos. He was sitting in class, whatever, and he has a video of he was talking to the counselor. And at this point, he actually had some motion, I believe. But it's not an easy conversation to have, to even bring up the topic of possibly not going to college. I've talked to my parents about that. And they will freak out, okay? It's not easy to come home, and your parents have had this dream cultivating in their head for years. Since you were a little baby, they thought, oh, my little son is going to go off to college, and then he's going to get a job, and he's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. He's going to be fine. They just want you to be okay. They know, yes, you have to accrue. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. It's cliche, but it's true. They know that that's true, but they don't want to see you fail. They want you to have the secure path. So I'm going to talk about accountability, and a lot of this is from Naval Ravikant. So if you don't know him, check out his stuff. I learned a ton from him. His book, The Almanac of Naval by Eric. It's great. If you haven't read it, read it. That's where a lot of this is going to come from. So accountability is literally taking credit for things when it goes bad. So you're never going to get paid renting out your time. And so the CEO, if you think about the CEO of a company, why does he get paid more? He's probably doing way less work. He's got more free time than all the employees. Well, first of all, he accrued the risk of starting the company itself. Do you not think about what the CEO inevitably went through to get to the position that they're in? Same thing with Brez. This kid was in college. He had no idea how this was going to pan out, and yet he still went after it. And so he's going to reap the benefits of that as well. So there's, I think Charlie Munger said this, or maybe it was Nassim Taleb. He said that the two most dangerous things on the planet are one, heroin, and two, a monthly salary. Because the CEO, he has a bunch of risk. He's going to get rewarded accordingly if things are going well. If things are going bad, he's humiliated. And who gets paid? Everyone but him. When things go bad, everyone but the CEO gets paid. Think about that. Yeah, it's awesome. He makes a ton of money, but everyone but him gets paid when things are going bad. That's why he gets paid more when things are going good. The employees, the security is nice, but at the cost of that is the amount of money that they're making. And their inputs are directly correlated to their outputs. I just want to talk about, that's really all we're talking about here. Back in the day, you might have died. I mean, for instance, the captain would always go down with his ship. If his ship was sinking, the captain would literally die with the ship. That is extreme accountability. But nowadays, all it is typically humiliation. If you're starting a YouTube channel, you're worried about what your friends think about it. If you're starting a business, yeah, we're talking about money. A lot of it's talking about taking accountability under the public eye, which is incredibly scary, and it's something not a lot of people are willing to do. Ask yourself if you're willing to do that. Well, we're talking about business now. It's not you're going to die. No, it's actually, in the modern society, the downside, incredibly small. The upside is unlimited. The downside of starting a YouTube channel, people will see it, maybe talk to you about it, and it might make you feel a little uncomfortable. The upside, you turn into one of these people that can post a video and make an entire salary per year. That's insane upside, very small downside if you really think about it. That's what's incredible about today's society. So Brez, all he did was, one, he started the YouTube channel. He was smart in documenting his journey along the way, but he applied what's called accountability. And it's just being able to, you're there when things are bad, but when things are going good, you're going to get rewarded congruently. Next is leverage. So leverage, this is another one of Naval's concepts, but he basically defines that there's three kinds of leverage. And leverage is when you disconnect the inputs and the outputs. So you can literally earn while you're asleep. If you have a bunch of robots working for you, you go to sleep, maybe you program them a little bit during the day, but you go to sleep, they're still working. That's leverage. The inputs, if you're working an hourly wage job, $25 an hour, you can only work so many hours. The inputs and outputs are directly correlated. Even if you're a doctor, if you don't own the practice, if you don't have the accountability, if you have the security rather, you actually can only work a certain amount of time. If you're on vacation, you're not earning while you're on vacation because you don't have the accountability. It's the same thing here. So there's three kinds of leverage. The first one is labor. Brez, he's got employees. He talks about it. His friends, I believe, are a part of his business, or at least were in the beginning before they possibly have branched off. He's got employees. He's got salespeople. And so labor, it's one of the oldest forms. I mean, if you were on I don't want to talk about slavery, but like that's labor. Okay, that just came to mind. I don't know why. The next is capital. Brother's obviously swimming in bands, okay? I mean, he just spent like $180K on a damn watch. He's got enough money to leverage. And he's also got a no marginal product, or a product with no marginal cost of replication. So that's essentially the easiest example of that one is social media. It doesn't cost Brez anything to make a video, but what it brings in is possibly lead flow to his business, the ad revenue itself from his videos. There's many ways that making content will actually bring in money. Joe Rogan makes a podcast and he makes, I don't know, $50 to $100 million a year. just from making content of him talking. Sure, he's bought some equipment, yeah, but he's just going in there and filming himself talking. You can do that over and over and over again, and the input of that is not connected to the output. He is not working as hard as someone at the corner store working 80 hours a week, barely taking home $30K a year. They're grinding. Joe, he has taken on the accountability and the risk for long enough to accrue the benefits. Same thing with Brez Scales here. He has labor, he has employees, he has money, and he has no margin products that he's able to make. He also sells a service. The cool thing about services is there's not a lot of upfront cost. Sure, now he has employees, but when he started doing freelance brand scaling, he was likely just reaching out to companies, doing the work himself, and getting paid. There's no cost. It's just time. So he's extremely leveraged. He took extreme accountability early on. He was 17, 18, dropped out of college. Okay? That's why he's 19 with this stuff. If you don't want to drop out of college, it's okay that you're afraid of the humiliation. But you got to realize that's what this guy went through to get what he has. And it really goes back to the greater the risk, greater reward principle that is extremely cliche and trite but misunderstood. Unless you have that, you're not going to get these untapped benefits that you're wanting. It's a long-term game of accountability and gaining leverage in the process. That's all it is. So Brez, he's another example of a guy who's taken a massive risk and he's built up leverage to a point where he can buy things that you could never dream of buying with a regular job per se. You have to own equity in a business. You have to have leverage, and that takes a lot of time. It takes specialized knowledge, which is going out in the field, and it's stuff that can't be taught. It can only be learned by doing. That's why he's rewarded equally. This is not about freelance brand scaling. This is about any business. If you want to start a YouTube channel, you're going to get humiliated along the way like I have. Okay, I have people watching my videos, and they come up to me and they're like, "Oh, you still making those YouTube videos?" Yeah, I am, because eventually this is going to make my salary, bro. So if there's something you want to do and you want to get to this level, there's always a risk involved. There's no free lunch ever. There's never free lunch. So you choose what you want to do, chase your innate curiosity and desire, because you're going to be the best at that. And with social media, you can leverage your literal talents, you can leverage your expertise, you can leverage your hobbies, and you can help people. So I know that's broad, but this can literally be applied to anything, which is the good news. It doesn't mean you need to start freelance brand scaling. Do what you want to do it for a long time, and accrue accountability along the way. And then one day, you don't know when that is, but after compounding interest, the effect of that has compounded enough, you'll get rewarded. Joe Rogan did not make hundreds of millions. No. For years and years and years, these people are making no money. Then one day they hit, and everyone wonders, wow, why are they getting paid so much? This is just the reality of it, okay? And that's actually not a bad thing. I actually find comfort in that principle. I know that if I just chip away at these YouTube videos, eventually I'm going to get rewarded. If they're valuable, I'll get rewarded. I know that. And that's not even what it's about. I enjoy doing this now. So do what you want. Maybe make a YouTube channel. Maybe make whatever it is. Do it for a year. Then you can check back at this video, see what happens. Do something every day for a year, whatever small amount, 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. Do it every day. And the greatest things in life come from compounding interest and the compounding effect. So this is how Brez has basically made a lesson out of timeless business principles.
Hey,
Cheers.
it's me.